Welcome back to a very shout out to our Patreon member episode of the Careful Board. Woo! Shout out to, as always, if you want to make any suggestions for things that we're going to discuss out here, jump into our Patreon where we can have a private Discord for you guys, exclusive patrons, and send your suggestions that way. We're going to ignore 90% of them, but the ones that we like and we think we can riff on for a whole 20 minutes in the video sweatshop are going to be talked about.
Or just join the Patreon so you could chat with me because I get lonely.
It's a hot day in the video sweatshop today, boys.
Yep.
Let's go. Back to work.
All right, so this question right here, submitted by, I do not know how to pronounce this, Ogielen, O-G-I-E-L-E-N. I don't know. Thank you for submitting this.
Nailed it.
What's something we should learn on our own that school does not teach us?
I'll jack off really good.
Jack off good, yeah.
And that's why you should pay to get behind the paywall of our Patreon.
Taxes, dude.
Yeah.
Taxes is good.
Shit that school don't teach you?
Maybe let him cook a little bit on a big answer.
Let's let Joe cook on jacking off, dude.
All right, back to Jack.
No.
Yeah,
Taxes is good.
Taxes over jacking off.
But how do you think they should teach it in a way that you'll care as a kid?
That's
they
the
won't.
tough
They
part.
won't be able to. Because we don't care about math as a kid, dude, except for the kids who get their asses beat all day.
Yeah. And there's adults who still don't care.
Well, taxes
They're
don't
willing to
really
keep paying
matter.
13%, right? And they keep paying 13% every
I'd
single
like to know
year.
that my money's going to good causes in my city. Okay?
Like a
Like,
politician's pocket?
Like empty fire hydrants.
like
Hypodermic needles for the druggies.
yeah, we pay extra for that.
I think taxes don't matter for most of the population that if they're just on a W-2 all their life, meaning like if you're working a job and it's pretty simple. So
Yeah, but those people don't ask tax questions. Right?
yeah.
Like, everybody who asks me tax questions is because they're not yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like if you drive Uber, there's a lot of ways you can save more money. Or if you do Postmates or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe a way that they could formulate it is if they turned it into like, you know how they'll have it where it's like, okay guys, if all the kids in here read a book, by the end of the month we'll have pizza day, or like the fucking principal will shave his head. Like if they can get into a group activity where everyone earns dollars, so all the kids have $10, then because they voted on an initiative, everyone takes the $10 and have to contribute $2. But then if the initiative is stupid, then they're like, fuck, I just paid $2 for that stupid thing that no one cared about. Then if you kind of make it where you're more involved rather than like this like lecture-based, so like lab-based versus lecture-based, I think people will understand it more. And then maybe care, then because later on when you make money and you start to see, oh wait, this is kind of like that thing where we all agree on stuff, but then I don't agree where this money is going, or how can I keep more money, you know?
There's also, I think that's a great idea, but I think there's also like such a thing as like learning stuff that's relevant for you. So like if I'm like sitting there learning about economy and taxes in like 8th grade, like that, of course.
Yeah, the application is like there's nothing.
Two fucking shits, even if it's taught really, really well,
It might
right?
make sense senior year.
Or even like, what if it's like a GE for like college?
Yeah.
Like you have to take certain courses for
Like a
college.
senior level class or something.
Yeah.
That would make more sense.
Dude, they should make you contribute to a 401k, like back then.
Seriously.
Legit.
I think
a good
school,
one, actually.
in my opinion, massively fucked up by almost alienating like trade jobs to make it seem like that was failing.
Yeah.
They massively messed that up. Because like then everybody ended up getting these useless degrees and they can't get a job, but then the dude that was a Sparky at like freaking senior year of high school is like killing now. Like one of my buddies who had to drop out of school because he got his girl pregnant, straight up went to work at Edison at the lowest possible like job at 19, and then he's just at a desk. Fucking cush. Like his
Dude,
life is
I got a neighbor who pays like $250 a week to get his car detailed.
Wow.
Like those guys are killing it, and I guarantee you, like he's making more than people with degrees. Like whoever the car detailer guy is.
When you guys went to high school, did you have like wood shop and all like mechanics, like all
We
that
didn't
stuff?
have that at our school.
Because
We did.
at our high school, it was pretty cool. They actually had a huge, in the back, like a garage and a whole auto mechanic area, and I took that class. But I remember my other high school, they had hella stuff that they just closed down. Like they had wood shop, they had a whole farming section. They had like a lot of, because Gardena used to be a farm town. So most high schools were like vocational, like whatever that
dope.
community was. Like if it was a farm town, then it's kind of like that's what you're learning the craft in. But they closed out like half of that shit.
I think that was during that push where they started prioritizing white collar over blue collar.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's just get everyone into the colleges. And we don't need to do any of these trade work.
We had an agriculture situation, and one day a couple kids broke in with baseball bats and like killed all like the sheep and stuff.
Damn.
Oh,
Senior prank.
fuck?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Was it from your own school, you think?
I think so.
They ever catch them?
Sunny Hills High School.
Because
crazy.
I thought it was normal for like every grade or every like school to have a garden, livestock, all that. Because every single, like from elementary and on, we had that. We just had hella rabbits, chickens, whatever. There was like a garden. And then I was like, but we never like went in there or like did anything. So I was like, it made sense though, because if it was a farm town, they teach you hella young, like all that stuff. And then you learn how to keep chickens and all that stuff. But yeah, what do they do now that's actually useful? Because I'm thinking about how quickly like AI and all these things develop. Even universities are kind of outdated.
And then even back to like the financial stuff too, if it was like senior level or like early, like a general ed class that you had to take for early college type stuff, even if it wasn't just as basic as taxes, if that was like a part of the curriculum for a general finance class, you know, like things like you would teach macroeconomic things in history, but you would not be like, how do you open up like why is a retirement?
Yeah.
Or
How do you open up a Roth?
interest
Yeah.
in this application?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like stock, how do you invest in stocks or bonds or like options or puts, like just things like that. And because it's like you have to for the general, it's like I use that today or want to know more about that than calculus.
Well, that's what's hard is that the person teaching you doesn't have, like if a guy in a fucking Ferrari drove in and went, you guys want to know how to do this? Then you'll know, but then the guy that's teaching you at the school doesn't have the success that he's telling you can get. So it's weird.
Or he doesn't flaunt it.
Yeah. It doesn't show it.
Because some of those guys got some money put away.
Oh yeah, you look at their investments. That's what they should show. They're just, here's my investments. This is why you should listen to me.
I don't think any of the teachers I had would have made sense being like, do this.
I had an econ professor who used to talk about how much he puts away like all the time. And he was great, like as
What
far
did
as
he
that
say?
goes.
What was
He would
his thing?
talk about how he contributes to his 401k and like
But then that's boring to kids too. You gotta have a fucking symbol of it. Like you can't be like, I
Mine's
put
too
money
long.
away. Like that doesn't.
If they're like, if your econ teacher's like 30 years old, like, you guys just wait when I'm 65, I'm gonna be a multi-million. The kids
No,
are like,
my
what
guy
the
was-
fuck?
my guy was like in his I think late 50s or something.
You need like a symbol of like what's cool to a kid.
I only had one thing stick with me from my econ teacher in like junior year, and it was just, he's like, this is how you get rid of credit card debt if you have multiple credit cards and you have debt in all of them. It's easier. He's like, it's just easier for you to just pay off the one completely aggressively that is lowest balance, so you can get it out and minimize the other payments.
It's a Dave Ramsey fan.
James Ramsey
Yeah.
guy.
And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. My parents have a lot of credit card debt. This probably affects me. You know, and like
Yeah.
that's the only thing that stuck with
And then
me.
you tell your daddy, like, shut the hell up.
Biggest first. That's what I do.
I also wish when I was going to school, I think about this all the time. Like I wish I just knew that we would have such a need for gender consulting.
Such an ass.
Why?
What's gender? I don't know that term.
It's big. We have a lot of big.
They help you decide if you want to be a boy or a girl.
What it is?
I just didn't know we'd have that would be like a whole vertical in our.
It's like, are you sure you're okay being a dude, right?
Like I think.
Okay, we'll check again later. Okay.
We had
So supportive.
a social studies teacher that actually brought in all these different kind of like experts that explained practical shit to us, and that was probably one of the most beneficial because one of these guys, I don't know who he was, but he was teaching us that minimum wage is not like something you can live on. And I think all high school kids, especially if you're from a poor neighborhood, you just think, oh, after high school, I'm just gonna work at Target or a gas station or whatever, and that's it. You're not gonna do like other shit. So he was like writing out the math of like, you make minimum wage, this is how much you get, and then this is how much your apartment is, and he just kind of broke it down, and he's like, so at the end of it, you don't have any money left over. And it's so simple, but I think to a high schooler, you're just like, oh shit, like, so what are we supposed to do? And then they go, you guys should pursue higher things. Like, try to get a career, like, doing this or that.
In humanities.
Yeah. Because I was like, yeah.
I learned inflation from Archie Comics. Because they showed it, there's a comic with like little Jinx was like trying to buy, she used to be able to get 2 lollipops for a penny. And then like a year later, she was like, now it's 1 cent for a lollipop. And then now it's 2 cents for 1. And I was like, holy shit, where's this going? I was like, and this is a comic from 1960.
I wish they taught us, like, when your chick is complaining about something, you're not supposed to try to fix it right there. You're just supposed to go like, whoa, yeah, that sucks. That's crazy, babe.
Or that you're never supposed to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Never.
That you're not supposed to provide solutions, it's empathy. Yeah, that's a big one.
Huge one.
Yeah.
You're supposed to listen, but you're not listening, but pretend that you're listening.
Yes, that too. That's big too.
There's people that watch this that don't know that now. They're going, oh.
Really?
And I don't even know what that is.
It takes a long time to freaking. And even when you know you're supposed to do that, you still can't.
I hate when Nikki calls me out too because she's like, that's one of your auto responses. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then I'm like, fuck, she got me, dude. Dead to rights.
Your away message turned on.
Yeah. But then I start listening intently after that, like just to prove, like, look how much I'm paying attention now.
You're getting real close, huh?
Imagine you're going to like sex ed class and they're teaching like this is where the clitoris is and the stimulation is best.
That'd be very helpful.
Come on, somebody pointed out to you, boy.
Cypress College taught that.
So I'm gonna teach you guys what I wish my husband would have learned.
I wonder why people, like, after they graduate, like, no one's actually prepared for the world. And I think that's where high school sucks.
It's sort of a good thing in a way, though, because you're just sort of slam fucked into it.
Kind of how you get it, yeah. That's how you learned, yeah.
Right?
But if you weren't in high school and you just started earlier to get into the real world, wouldn't that actually be more? Like, it almost feels like a waste of time. Like,
I just feel like
get in the job
people
market.
don't know how to apply things, right? Like, you can
Yeah.
learn things, but until you apply it, you really don't learn it.
know, yeah.
Like, my sister went to vet school, and she said she didn't learn shit until she, like, was actually being a vet.
Yeah, she was working the floor.
Yeah.
so, like, if someone were to apply it, like, let's say from 15 and become an apprentice at a mechanic shop or whatever,
that
like,
makes more sense.
that makes more sense.
Apprenticeship makes way more sense than getting a degree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That does.
You know what I noticed? All my friends that had, like, I guess, like, good parents or whatever that were involved, they were pretty ready. Like, the dad, instead of, like, you know how, like, kids become annoying? So it becomes, like, going to the oil change is me time. Just fucking stay at home. You know, they're like, oh, thank God, some fucking peace and quiet. But then the dads that, like, brought the kids to get an oil change, explain what the hell's going on, or brought them to their job. So, like, your dad's a contractor, this is how I build houses. They kind of understand all those things. So I remember, like, when I was 18 or 19 and I'm kind of, like, on my own, I would have, like friends like Mike Yanamura and Derek, whatever. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know all these things? Like, you know how to open a bank account and all these, but it's just, I think they've been walked through all those steps of life. And for me, I felt like I got slam fucked. I don't know anything. I got my first fucking telemarketing job. They're like, oh, I'm gonna have to need your fucking, like, routing number so we can deposit your checks or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck's a routing number? Like, I don't know anything. Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, you just gotta go to the bank or whatever. They'll give you these numbers. All you know is numbers at the bottom of the checkbook. I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck do you guys know these things?
That's why it helps when there's an application. Like in high school, the reason I learned how to use a bank account was because we needed to find a way to use PayPal in high school so we could use eBay. So we could buy illegal shit. So there was like, the cause and effect was there and it made you learn the basics because there was a kid version of what you wanted to do, you know what I mean?
Outside of school shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then we wanted to buy lockpicks. So we were like, oh, you gotta go to eBay. Oh, you gotta have a PayPal. Oh, you gotta have a bank account. You have to connect it.
I
But
had
then
a bank account because I was selling wheelchairs on eBay.
you were selling wheelchairs?
legit. I was selling wheelchairs on eBay, like power wheelchairs and shit like that. Yeah, I had a supplier and shit.
Damn.
In high school you were doing this?
I was just out of high school.
He was the disability plug.
Yeah. I would do improv at night and I would do that during the day. I would sell like power wheelchairs and shit like that.
Electric wheelchair dealer.
My dad was in medical supply.
Oh, so he was the plug.
They give you a lead, like, hey, you should be selling these and make good money.
Basically, he's like, "Look, we should just try this out and see how it goes." Like, and I was selling through. It was pretty lit, but the biggest thing was trying to figure out the margins. Like, you know, you have to kind of workshop what your cost is going to be and all that stuff. Because with eBay, it's a little bit different. Like, there's competition on there, and you have to kind of figure out how you're going to elevate yourself without ruining your margins, which was the big problem.
Which is a crazy life lesson, because that's applicable in almost every industry and market.
Yeah. That's what's cool is that you actually are doing it versus someone telling you to imagine it.
Yeah. Because you could have told me all this shit in high school, but until I got slam fucked into this.
And people probably did. Teachers probably did say a lot of shit that you wish they did say, but it just went.
I guarantee it, dude.
That's back to like the lab testing, like versus just theorizing the entire time. You have to like apply the lesson in order to learn the lesson versus hear the lesson and be like, I now know this.
Because hearing lessons for kids is almost useless.
Yep.
Like when I teach kids in the jiu-jitsu, like if I try to tell them what we're doing, I literally just show it one time and I just go, all right, you try it. And then make them do it as they do it. And then, because otherwise, if I tell them verbally, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm going
I think it's difficult to conceptualize things when you're young because you don't have any reference point of what you're conceptualizing.
Yeah, reference points.
So you're like, how can you imagine something you never experienced? But I remember I think it was my English teacher when we got into debate and stuff like that. He opened it by saying, I won every single ticket that I represented myself for, even when I was wrong. And we're like,
wow,
wait,
that's cool.
So you got out of all your speeding tickets and all your traffic violations? He goes, yup. And he goes, so this is the power of like learning language, debate. And he goes, you're arguing in court. And then, so that's when all of the criminals were like, how the fuck do we get out of this even when we're guilty? Right. You know? And so I was like, funny. That made me super interested because it's like, this is the real world application of using these skills. But I don't know how someone in like, algebra is gonna do that.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. Because the idea behind school is like, you're just supposed to be well-rounded and and then you have discipline. Because what they're really trying to do is develop factory managers. Mm-hmm. The trades were about blue collar and labor. And then the school system was because a lot of the major industries need middle managers that basically run the labor. Mm. But then if the system is moving away from that kind
manufacturing.
Then it's kind of a dumb system, which is why I think everything's going academic and like degree collecting. Because the whole university racket is just paying hella money and then you're getting a useless degree.
It totally like feels sad too when you watch like do you guys watch Caleb Hammer? Mm-hmm. And then you got people on there that are like, I don't understand why my life is like this. I have a degree. Oh, I love that. And then he's just like, no one gives a shit. And they're like, what do you mean no one gives a shit? And they get so offended. It's like, dude, if you wear that badge, it's like a sad awakening that, dude, it's just experience.
You know what I wish they taught everyone too? Is you aren't your emotions.
Mm. Oh, wow. That's already
there's a separation from self and how you feel. Yeah. Because then like, you'll see like people like let's say arguing with the fucking cash register person about a certain policy, like they're the owner of Ralph's, and it's like that's not the right. They're literally they're just a person there. You don't like the policy, but there's a way to like have effective outcome, and then kind of like how you feel, and you don't have to act on how you feel because it's actually like separate. Like you are separate from your emotions versus what you do. And I think a lot of people that have become like super impulsive and just reactive, it's all one person.
I also think too that some people learned that if they cry enough, their parents will give them whatever they want. And so now what they do is like they just cry on the internet, and they think that that nukes every other argument, that just trumps everything else. And like now you're just crying on the internet and looking like a bitch in front of everybody. And
they think when people stop engaging, it's because they're right, but it's not that they're just exhausted with you.
Right. Yeah, I just saw somebody crying the other day, and I was just like, somebody like really taught them a very bad lesson, and they never learned that like, but all they had to do was cry around their parents, and then they're like, oh my god, like, you win.
Yeah, they come coddle you and hug you. Yeah.
Ugh, mistake.
Yeah, it's
such a mistake.
It's a big oopsie.
Let them cry.
Oofy doofy.
You become a wow adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder how much should the public school system should deal with like that versus your own family.
I think bullying deals with that, which is
I like that bullying deals with that. Yeah.
But should it be an official public school sanctioned activity?
Bullying? Yeah, as long as there's rules on it. Yeah.
I think why you bully certain people, like some of that completely is valid.
Dude, there's so many people out there right now who are like fucking pretending to be ponies and stuff.
We gotta bully them.
They should have been bullied. You know what I mean?
I think Taika misunderstood some of the bullying stuff because he's like, when can I use my jiu-jitsu? I was like, never. I was like, if you have a conflict, always tell the teacher or walk away. That's step number one. Step number two, tell the teacher. I'm like, but if you ever feel like your life is in danger, like you're stuck in a bathroom, they lock the door, you can fight however you need. He goes, what if I get kicked out of school? I'm like, if you get kicked out of school for defending your life, I'm like, fuck that school.
Wow.
Or if you see a 28-year-old man dressed like a Shetland pony in a park, in a public park, you can absolutely use jujitsu.
So the other day, like
Born to death.
some bigger kid like told me like he grabbed the hold and like pushed him or whatever, and so he learned this like new judo trip. So he's like, so he came up to me like pushed me again. So I judo tripped him. I'm like, oh
Tight.
sick, that's good. And then I'm like, and then what happened? And then he was like, and then I went up to him and I judo tripped him again, and then I mounted him, and then I started choking him. I'm like, no. At that point, you're the bully now. I was like, once you judo trip him and everything's good, you gotta.
He's like, that's 5 points already.
I'm like, you gotta like disengage and you walk away. Like once the bullying stops, you stop, or else you turn into the bully. And he was like, oh, I think he got too much fun. He's like, dude, this is sick. Who else is gonna start pushing me around?
Because it's honestly, he's living out his movies in his head.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if I was his age and I was able to beat up kids like that, I'd be a menace.
So I gotta make him much more Jackie Chan. Just, I don't want no trouble over and over. Yeah.
He sounds like Death Wish, dude. He's going on a subway in the middle of the night, yeah, with an expensive watch. And he's like, well, you like my watch? Why don't you come and take it?
90% of the movie's baited revenge.
Baited all the whole time, dude. Just entrapment.
I love that shit so much.
Taika's trying to.
Is that movie where the guy goes around LA killing people because he's so fed up with the?
No, that's Falling Down. I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm talking about Death Wish, dude, where he's in like the New York subway and he's like, you know, wearing a dress and stuff.
It's Elder Vengeance. It's Elder Vengeance.
Elder
yeah.
My
He's like,
grandma
oh, you
had
think
the
I'm pretty? Why don't you come and take it?